You are not tired. You are overstimulated. There is a difference, and it is destroying you. You wake up exhausted before the day begins. You scroll without deciding to. You put down your phone and pick it up again 11 seconds later. Not because something happened, not because you were curious, but because your hands have been trained. Because stillness now feels like a threat. Because your brain, the most complex object in the known universe, has been reduced to a slot machine that keeps pulling its own lever. And somewhere in the background of all of it, quiet, persistent, impossible to locate, is a feeling you can't name. Not sadness, not anger, something worse, nothing. You feel almost nothing. You think it's laziness. You think it's weakness. You think it is something fundamental and broken inside you that other people somehow escaped. It isn't. But what it actually is, that's what you've been avoiding. Dopamine is not the pleasure chemical. That is the story you were told. It is wrong. Dopamine is not the feeling of having. Dopamine is the feeling of wanting. It is anticipation. It is the engine that makes you pursue, reach, try. It is the signal your brain fires when something worth chasing appears in front of you. Without it, nothing feels worth doing. Nothing feels worth starting. Nothing feels worth finishing. Here is what no one tells you. The more you feed it, the less it works. Every hit of instant stimulation raises the floor. Your brain recalibrates. What satisfied you last year no longer satisfies you today. What excited you 6 months ago now registers as background noise. You are not becoming more sophisticated. You are becoming more numb. The threshold climbs, and real life, actual, physical, slow human life, cannot keep up. It was never going to keep up. You were never going to win this. Think about what you fed it. You open your phone before your feet touch the floor. Not because you want to. You just do it. Your thumb moves before you make a decision. That is not a habit. That is a conditioned reflex. The kind that took months to build without you noticing. The kind that now runs without your permission. You said, just 1 minute. It turned into an hour. You didn't even notice when it happened. Then the content. Engineered by teams of behavioral scientists, optimized through billions of data points, refined specifically to exploit the way your dopamine system works. Not to entertain you, not to inform you, to hold your attention long enough to sell it. You are not the user, you are the product. This is not entertainment. This is sedation. Short videos with no resolution. Notification systems built on variable reward intervals. The same mechanism that makes gambling addictive. Feeds that never end. So the decision to stop never comes naturally. And stopping always feels like loss. You think you chose this. You did not choose this. Your attention was trained. Systematically. Deliberately. And by the time you noticed something was wrong, the training was already complete. So here is what happened to you. The things you used to love, they still exist. The book on your shelf. The instrument you stopped playing. The project you started twice and abandoned. They are still there. But when you try to approach them now, your brain sends a signal. This is too slow. This is not enough. Something better is available. And you listen. Every time you listen. You open your phone. Nothing. You close it. 10 seconds later, you open it again. You don't even enjoy it anymore, but you still do it. That loop, that empty, automatic, joyless loop, is now the rhythm your days are built around. Real life requires patience, effort, delayed reward. The early stages of anything meaningful feel like nothing. No feedback, no signal that you're doing well. Just the quiet, uncomfortable work of building something real. Your brain cannot tolerate that anymore. So you leave, you scroll, you consume, and then you sit in the hollow feeling of having done nothing while hours passed. And you call it rest, even though you are more drained than when you started. You are not relaxing. You are escaping yourself. Days blur. Weeks disappear. You look back at the last 3 months, and there is almost nothing there. No memories that feel distinct. No moments that feel real. Just a smear of content and half-finished intentions. This is not who you were supposed to become. You are drifting, and the current is very strong. You've started to tell yourself a story about it, that you're lazy, that you lack discipline, that other people have something you were born without. You've made the dysfunction into identity. You carry it like a personality trait. I'm just someone who can't focus. Because even a broken identity feels safer than the truth. The truth is this: you are not lazy. You are addicted. Not in a dramatic way. Not in the way it looks in films. In a quiet, socially accepted, algorithmically encouraged way that billions of people share, which is exactly why no one calls it what it is. Your brain has adapted to a level of stimulation that does not exist in nature, and now normal life, conversations, books, meals, work, rest, real human connection, registers as inadequate. The baseline has been raised so high that reality cannot reach it. Normal life cannot compete anymore. You didn't lose your ability to feel, you traded it. Understand what happens if nothing changes. The numbness deepens, not dramatically, quietly. Your focus continues to erode. Your ambition, the real kind, the kind that used to feel like possibility, keeps receding further. You start fewer things, you finish nothing. The gap between who you are and who you intended to be grows wide enough that you stop looking at it directly. You will reach the end of this year, or the next one, or the one after that, and the question will be there waiting. What did I do with it? The honest answer will be, you watched, you scrolled, you consumed, you waited for something to feel good enough to deserve your full attention. Nothing ever quite did. You are not running out of time dramatically. You are losing it in invisible fragments every day, unremarkably. Here is the part most people skip because it is uncomfortable. Recovery does not feel like wellness. It feels like withdrawal, because it is. You will reach for your phone without thinking. You will feel genuine panic in silence. You will sit in a quiet room and experience something close to terror, an irrational, physical need to escape, to fill the space, to return to the noise. That is not weakness. That is your nervous system demanding what it has been trained to expect, and you have to sit with it. You will try to escape yourself. The urge will feel involuntary, because it mostly is. You will start and fail. The failure is not evidence that you cannot do this. It is evidence that what you're dismantling is real. Boredom will feel like physical pain. Silence will feel aggressive. The first days of any genuine reduction in stimulation will be harder than you expect. Not metaphorically hard, but genuinely, surprisingly, physically hard. Agitated, restless, unable to land anywhere. That is the floor dropping back towards something livable. That is the recalibration beginning. What it looks like, in practice. You remove the highest stimulation inputs first. The mindless scroll, the autoplay loop, the reflex checking, the hand that moves before you decide. Those go first, or get severely rationed. Not because they are uniquely evil, but because they set the baseline that everything else is measured against. While that baseline stays where it is, nothing real can break through. You rebuild tolerance for slowness. You sit with difficult things, past the point where your attention wants to abandon them. You walk without filling your ears. You create without an audience watching. The activity is less important than the practice of staying, of choosing not to flee the moment discomfort arrives. You control what enters your attention before you try to direct it. You cannot choose your own focus when an algorithm has been choosing your thoughts for the first hour of every day. And you accept that it becomes harder before it becomes easier. The early silence is loud. Everything you use the noise to avoid will surface. That is not a reason to stop. That is the beginning of the actual work. This is where you land. You are not someone who cannot feel. You are someone who lost the ability to feel the quiet things, because you spent years training yourself to need the loud ones. Underneath the numbness is still someone who wants something, still someone capable of absorption, of focus, of genuine satisfaction from effort. It did not disappear. It is buried under the noise you agreed to carry. The path back is not comfortable. It is not fast. It will not feel like progress while it's happening. But the alternative is this. You open your phone. You feel almost nothing. You close it. 10 seconds later, you open it again, and another day passes through you without leaving a mark.